Welcome my friends, welcome on Travis Code channel. In this video we will talk about forms in React and specifically in this one we will investigate React Final Form. Final Form is a very popular library for managing forms in React. As you know from the previous video where we created form with controlled components approach, it's a basic approach for React. It was a bit painful because of we needed to handle state of the form and validation. When you're working with big forms, it's really complex and you need some tool to simplify your work. Final Form is one of the best and it's my favorite tool for working with forms. As you see, it's very popular and a lot of world-known companies are using this tool. This library has a lot of benefits of using it. It's modular, zero dependency, high performance, and we can use it with hooks, React hooks. So let's start our tutorial. And what do we need? First of all, we need to install this library. Let's copy it and let's go to our application. Here we have create React app template. Everything is from the box. We run this application on port 3000 and as you see it's regular application. Okay, what do we need? Let's open terminal and install Final Form and React Final Form. Meanwhile, we can open app.js and we will delete part what we do not need anymore. It's everything what is inside header. Let's delete it. We don't need logo anymore. And now let's create our form. Let's go step by step what we have in the code sample. First of all, let's import two components, it's form and field. Form is a special wrapper for our form, which provides at least three the main important methods we need. It's onSubmit for handling submit, validation, we will pass a function to validate our code, and render for rendering our form. Inside render, it's a function which returns passing handle submit method, and we will use it for onSubmit. Okay, let's copy. And inside we need form. And on submit, we will call handle submit. Handle submit is reserved name in this case. And now inside we need create only one field. For example, let's copy for the first name. So what do we have? We have field. This component, it will replace our input type text, input type password, write a button or everything else, text area. We will put name. Based on this name we will have state. Then we put in component. What we are going to render it's a regular HTML input and we have some placeholder. The next one from the sample we can just copy button submit. Inside form. Now let's take a look what we have. We need onSubmit and validate. We don't have such function, so let's create. We will put debugger And for validate, debugger as well. Okay, and now as you see we have almost the same style. It's first name and some data. Let's type it, for example, and as you see, for when we're starting typing, on validate we have this event and we have field first name. So we didn't create state, but we have this data and we can handle this data somehow. Okay, let's remove this section for now. And for submit, we will have object with first name and value. So as you see, everything works from the box with minimum effort. Okay, now we can add some styles. Let's create for this div class name field, for example, and in our styles Okay, we have our form and now we can add some additional fields. Let's take a look what we have, another approach. Right now we used field directly, but here we have another approach with, for example, we can pass some component and we can use render function. Let's use this one first of all. We will create new field and inside we have name Pio biography, for example, and render method returns two important parts. It's input, what we need the structure using the structure to put to text area. Inside this property props we have value, we have on change and all other methods and properties we need to handle text area or any other component behavior. We have our label and also we have meta. In meta we have additional information from validation, for example, or some other. As you see, we can have initial value, data, active, dirty. For example, we check if form was touched, and if we have error, we can output this error. So how we can get this error? Let's add some validation to our form. But first of all, let's check, do we have this field? We have it. Okay, let's submit what we have, and as you see we have all these fields. Okay, let's add some validation. For example, for name we have our validate function. Let's create errors object and return these errors. And now we can check if event and first name, if we have first name and event first name length is less than 5, for example, errors first name, we can assign some error, too short. Okay, let's do it for bio, because for name we don't have method right now. Okay, let's try. For example, right now it works. Let's type something. And okay, let's change some style. It's not, should be div. Let's do it from the new line. And as you see, when we losing focus, we have this error. And when we type more letters, everything works fine. So as you see, validation works as we expect, and it was with minimum effort. Also, when we have some error, we do not handle submit, so we don't send this event. So validation was implemented pretty easy with minimum effort. The next one, what I want to show you, now we used render method. Also, as you see, we can use field and another approach. This approach we call React render props. When we have field and inside we have children, and children it's a function where we pass input and meta. Let's copy this section and try. So previously we had render method. Now the same for input, we're putting the structuring input. We have placeholder and we have the same errors for phone. Okay, what do we have? And as you see, we have phone and we have this data. For phone, for example, we can add some validation and type only numbers or at least placeholder. And then we can try type on based on this placeholder. So it's pretty easy. The next one, what I want to show is initial values. We can put some initial values for our project. For example, we are getting data from backend or from URL, and we need to put somehow this data. Okay, we can add them. This one, and for our form, let's add initial values. It will be initial data. And as you see, when we refresh page, we already have predefined name. Works super easy. The next one, what I want to show you why I like this approach, because we can create another components. For example, in source, let's create input.js. For example, we can create some new component. We will export this component, and inside our app we can import let's copy this section and put for second name. And we will use input component we created. We need put input data, and even this functionality we can put as well to this component, but for now we can leave it. So it means that you can use any component you need, and all what you need only put this input property. Let's delete this one. And for example, let's add so as you see, it will add second name label, but according to our design it's not a good idea, so we will put label here. And we have all data in the submit action. Okay, what do we have else? So this form management library is pretty simple and works great. Here you can find a lot of different examples how to use it. As you see, we can put any field is input type text, checkbox, drop down, radio button, and text area as well. And when you change something, you will have all data. We can put, as I showed before, initial values. In render we have fields. And this form automatically subscribes to all changes you are doing, and you can get all data you need. Also, we have different validations. For example, we have for field level validation and for form level validation in general. You can check the same mean value. Let's check for field. As you see, we can validate, put props validate to field, and we can put to form. So this was pretty simple introduction to React Final Form. If you want to learn more, you can read description and documentation for this plugin, philosophy of this plugin, this library, and for example why they avoid Redux form and why you can use it. So thank you for watching, subscribe to my channel, and soon you will get more interesting and useful videos how to use different libraries and React in general. Good luck!